Imagine working under a blazing sun without enough water, rest, or medical care. For thousands of migrant workers, this is just not imagination, but everyday reality. In the hope of gaining wealth, many return home having lost their health. Today, we'll uncover a silent health crisis faced by migrant workers, from mental health struggles to infertility and even unsolved kidney diseases. This is a public health emergency that deserves a national attention. Foreign employment provides a huge number of Nepalese youth with work opportunities. More than half of Nepalese households have at least one member in their family working abroad. The remittances have helped improve the living standard of many households. In 2023, $11 billion worth of remittance sent by migrant workers amounted to 26% of nation's GDP. More than 1,700 young Nepalese are leaving the country daily to work abroad. Approximately 14% of the total population are working abroad primarily in Malaysia and 6 countries of the Gulf Cooperation Council (GCC), mostly as laborers. While the UNs Sustainable Development Goals determine migration as a catalyst for development and recommend ensuring health of migrants, they are returning with a wide range of health problems. Migration for work is a time of significant turmoil, new language, new culture, and harsh working conditions. Loss of protective familial and social networks exacerbate feelings of loneliness and hopelessness, leading to high rates of depression, anxiety, PTSD, and even suicides. Psychiatric underdiagnosis is common and is compounded by poor screening of those who have pre-existing psychiatric conditions. Of the 801 migrant deaths in 2018, 132 were suicides, followed by 111 in subsequent year. Accidents at construction sites, heat stroke, and repetitive strain injuries are common. Close to a fifth of labor migrants experience a workplace accident. According to a Nepalese government report, there were 7,467 deaths among Nepalese migrant workers abroad from 2009 to 2019, and over 40% of deaths were deemed either of natural or unidentified cause, which is not explained, as majority of those were healthy young adults. Doctors are puzzled at abnormally high rates of sudden unexpected death syndrome among Nepalese overseas workers. Government of Nepal even temporarily banned migration to Malaysia in 2018 due to high deaths and workplace accidents. A silent epidemic of occupational kidney disease is emerging. Increasing number of returnees is being diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, often without the usual causes like diabetes or hypertension. Mesoamerican nephropathy is a form of progressive kidney disease, first identified in Central America. It primarily affects young agricultural workers who live in hot and humid climates and work outdoors. Strikingly, similar patterns are now being seen among Nepalese workers returning from the Gulf and Southeast Asia. These men often work long hours in extreme heat without adequate hydration or rest. Many use over-the-counter analgesics and are exposed to toxic industrial chemicals like solvents and heavy metals. Pre-existing indolent proteinuria goes unrecognized, untreated, and often ignored. Infertility is increasingly linked to long-term heat exposure among Nepalese migrant workers. In fact, a study from eastern Nepal found that nearly half of the infertile men were Gulf returnees. Long-term heat exposure is known to reduce sperm count by 14% for every 1 degree Celsius rise in testicular temperature. Gulf countries saw record-breaking heat in 2024, but most nations lack strict midday work bans for workers' safety. Legally, Nepal has provisions as per Foreign Employment Act of 2007, which mandates health screening, insurance coverage, and support for migrant workers. Workers must obtain a health certificate before being issued a labor permit. However, many workers do not receive proper medical assessment, and bilateral agreements between Nepal and destination countries often lack enforceable clauses on occupational health and safety. The Constitution of Nepal recognizes health as a fundamental right, aiming to provide free primary health care to all citizens. A healthier, more resilient workforce means greater productivity, reduced long-term healthcare costs, and sustainability of economy. Hence, prioritizing their health should be a strategic necessity. The World Health Assembly acknowledged health of refugees and migrants as a global priority. It is about time Nepal's national health policy integrated dedicated healthcare provision for migrant workers. First of all, we need a pre-departure health education, simple information on hydration, the danger of long-term analgesic, and recognizing early signs of trouble. Government must enforce highly strict labor regulation and include health protections in international labor contracts. Returnees should undergo routine screening, especially if they have worked in hot environments. We also need to strengthen mental health services, provide community support, and reduce the stigma associated with psychiatric illness. Public awareness campaigns, both through traditional medias and digital platforms, can play a key role in spreading life-saving knowledge, and government of Nepal has recently started telemedicine service targeting migrant workers. Our workers build the world. It's time we build systems that protect their health. Awareness is the first step towards change. Let's make the invisible visible. If you find this content relevant, share it. Thanks for watching. Stay aware, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.